As you are saying, don't go beyond the March minutes. What we see.
and Labor, Mr. Dr. Marupin, UIF Commissioner, Ms. L. Beirut, the Group Chief Executive Officer of Italy Enterprise, Mr. Thomas Tigo, Group Managing Executive, Retail and Business Banking, NetBank, UIF Board members, Mr. Samuel Roger, Principal of Amajuwa Tibet College, the board members of Jose Institute for Humanitarian Development and Praxis, Ms. Andy Nwabo, Chief Executive Officer of Jose Institute, members of the executive management, deans and academics and professional members of staff, our members, alumni, friends, and members of the community, particularly those communities that are beneficiaries of the Job Creation Project, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of KwaZulu-Natal, Professor Nana Ogo, and the executive management of the university, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the launch of this joint initiative of the Jose Institute for Humanitarian Praxis and the Unemployment Insurance Fund, an entity of the Department of Employment and Labor. The Vice Chancellor is sending his appreciation and support of this initiative. He is also apologizing that due to the pressing demands of higher education institutions that he is attending to, he is unable to be with us today. As you will be aware, South Africa is a very young population and many of our youth are unemployed. Furthermore, the COVID-19 pandemic of the past 2 years has amplified inequalities in our society and in so doing posing a significant threat to our new democracy. The Employment Creation Project of the Department of Labor, Jose Institute, and all our supporting business partners is a welcome contribution. It will go a long way to address the economic marginalization of large segments of our society and the deepening inequality. The initiative about which we have been learning and continue to learn about today is meant to ensure that we have, amongst others, young people are afforded an opportunity to put to practice their innovative ideas and entrepreneurial spirit. Work is not something that one just does in order to earn a living. Rather, it is an important part of our identities and also confers dignity and sense of purpose and meaning to the human person. It is therefore pleasing to learn that many graduates from this project are already in gainful employment and are creating job opportunities for others. As a university, we also have to play a role. We have embarked on an ambitious program of curriculum reform to ensure that our graduates are well equipped for the ever-changing demands of the labor market. We are also partnering with industry, government, and the business sector to create relationships for our students and to ensure that their skills are transferable in line with the philosophy of lifelong learning. We welcome opportunities for partnerships and collaboration from all the significant role players so that we can intensify our community engagement efforts and footprints in the same way that we have done through our partnership with the Jose Institute. With these words, welcome again to the University of KwaZulu-Natal. We are looking forward to engaging you and to learn more about and participate in the entrepreneurial projects of the Fuze Institute for Humanitarian Development and Defenses, the Department of Employment and Labor, and our business and community partners. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful volunteers in Sierra.
Siyabonga Thokozela kaMavuvu for having us in the institution. We will request again ushers for those responsible for the door that it seems now we've reached our capacity at the venue. Remember, colleagues, we are still under regulations until the 5th of March, so we got to be compliant. So we request please now make sure that the venue complies. Now we will get, as we are settling nicely and trying to rearrange our venue, colleagues to be compliant with the regulations and managing the numbers. We will request the Director General of the Department of Employment and Labor to probably tell us why we are here, give us the purpose, and of course, probably expand on the relationship that the department has with the forces. Thank you very much. Thank you, Program Director, Honorable Minister, the leadership of the university, the CEO of the Fuze Institute, the colleagues from other government departments, leadership of the Employment Insurance Fund and the board. Of course, the beneficiaries and that are the social groups of here today. I want to greet all of you and say good morning. We here today because of the partnership that we have with the Fuze Institute. We've had this partnership for some time now.
Yeah.
So we're here to launch the partnership between ourselves, the Unemployment Insurance Fund and Fuze Institute. We're launching the projects that we've had, but also to showcase what is it that we've been doing over the years. And this morning, Minister, we went to visit the project in Ndwendwe. And for us, it was very important that we go there and see. And I'm sure you have an experience. I was telling the board chairperson, UIF board chairperson, that in some parts of the Eastern Cape where I come from, in the olden days where the inspectors from the Department of Education would visit schools. And this inspector would come into this village, and there's a huge mountain, and supposedly the principal of the school would then say, the school is just behind this mountain, and to access this school you need to climb over this mountain. And the inspector looked at the daunting task of climbing the mountain, and he will then write a report that no, the school exists and all is well. Until one day where there was a new inspector, very energetic, and saw the task of
climbing the mountain as a challenge that could easily be overcome. He said, "No, I'm prepared to go there." And that day, the truth came out that there is no school. But teachers were paid all these years, and there were no teachers, so somebody was pocketing the money. So it was important that we go and see, not that we didn't trust Dr. Ngobo. We've been working with her for a number of years. We took a conscious decision as a department. We said, firstly, let me start, because I always want to give a context to the work that UIF is doing. The Unemployment Insurance Fund, as we know, collects contributions from employers and workers. So it's 1% from an employer and 1% from workers. This is a temporary, it's meant for a temporary relief in an event that you lose employment, and also for maternity benefit. Now, there's a provision in the law, in the UIF. By the way, let me state this. The condition for you to get UIF benefits is that you must be available for work in the labor market. So what it means is that Unemployment Insurance Fund, once you are unemployed and you want to draw benefits, besides the fact that they must give you the benefits, they must also see what is it that they can do to place you in employment. So give you an opportunity, either you start your own business or you get employed. So part of what we do to fulfill that other element, and that's why when we give you the UIF benefits, the first tranche is for you to go and look for employment, and we say come back and sign a continuation form. So the continuation form is for us to check whether you're still unemployed, so that we don't give you money whilst you're employed. So that if you're not employed, we then must do something for you, and that's why we've put a provision in the law that says part of the money that UIF collects must assist unemployed people to find employment. We define employment in two ways. One is you get somebody to give you a job and get remunerated for that. And the second aspect is that you start your own business. We help you to start your own business, enterprise development. So that's why we entered into a partnership with institutions like FUSE, so that they're able to assist us to make sure that not only UIF beneficiaries, but young people find something to do. We want to minister, there's a growing number of what we call not in employment, not in education and training group of young people. We're worried about them because these are people who don't have anything to do. They wake up in the morning, they have absolutely nothing to do. And we need to capture those young people, put them in programs like these so that they can find a purpose for living. And they look forward to do other things. So we value this partnership, and we're happy that the young people and the beneficiaries of these projects are here. I want to say to them, I hope you appreciate this, because there are other people out there who would have loved to be in your shoes. Unfortunately, because of numbers and the resources that are available, we chose you to be part of the program. And please make the most of it. Opportunities like this, they come once. We want to draw a distinction between what we do and what other trainings that are provided by other institutions, other people. The difference is that we took a decision that we will not fund any training that will result in young people sitting and standing in the street corners. We will fund training that will result in employment or people starting their own businesses. And that's why we're here, Minister, today. It's because of that. Our experience in the past is that we've trained people, they're standing in the street corners with their spirit levels, saying they can paint, but there's nowhere where they can apply their trade and draw income from that experience. So this is a different approach. We appreciate the work done by FUSE, and we think that our partnership has grown over the years, and we would like to keep it going. Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you very much, DG. I can see the mic now has been lowered, but DG, it seems thank you very much, DG. Colleagues, now for 2 minutes, 1 minute actually, we can do the rearrangement of seating, making sure that the venue complies, that we don't accept any further you to be inside the venue. There are still some chairs there. Those who don't have a gap in between, they can just maintain a gap in between. And then those who don't have to sit, there are still some chairs up there. We don't want this good event to be spoiled just by something that we could have avoided, colleagues. This is said with a bit of respect, not because we want to move up and down. This is the best interest of all of us. Now, I will move to call the CEO, Dr. Ngobo, from FUSE Institute, who has partnered with the Department of Labor and UIF to run this project. What also Dr. Ngobo has had to do when we move to the next level of testimonies now of learners who participated and are beneficiaries of the project. Take us towards that lab. Dr. Ngobo, over to you.
Oh, okay. Sanitizer, you can. Sanibona nonke. Ngizohlanganisa mangikhuluma, I'm going to talk in Zulu and English so that I cover other people who might not like the fact that sikhuluma ngesingisi right through. Thank you so much, and firstly I would like to thank the beneficiaries. We are here because of them. Ukuba bekho besingesibe khona. And I would like to apologize for taking them out. We realized that engathi segcwele kakhulu. Abantwana bethu ke bayathanda masiba inviteile. Bese beyabizana nabanye. So bafike nabanye abantu abade bengabizanga nabo. Kodwa ke bazoma ngaphandle. We'll take care of them. Bazothola lento ethunjini while sibengaphandle. I think this is a journey which started a long time ago. It didn't start now. It started 4, if I'm not mistaken, years ago. A partnership here today, UIF, looking at how unskilled EU theatre and women, I'm not saying amadoda akufanele sikhulume ngawo, but we were looking at women kakhulu. Remember that as mothers, we have to take care of your bantwana. As mothers, we have to take care of home. But I think the issue, yoguti noma sifuna ukwenza, we can't do because asinawo ama skills. We can't do because asinawo ama skills, but also we don't have land to do all the things that we wanted to do. Asikwazi ukutshala, asikwazi ukwenza lutho. So I was involved in land claims at that time. So we looked at how umhlaba uhleli ungenzi nix. And that's how the whole project, especially for farming, was born. Because Ubase University, much as we're a research institute, and you'll remember that university cannot issue short-term certificates, and they cannot do learnership. So we decided as an institute that ngaphansi kwe-university, we will have a program that will skill youth our men, women, and anyone else who qualifies, so that siyakwazi ukuthi kusasa babe nomsebenzi. But again, we didn't want to train people benze baba employees. We wanted to create employers for sustainability, because you'd have abantu ubatrain. The employer will take them for 6 months. After 6 months, they're back in the mainstream, looking for umsebenzi. But again, we train them on things that they do not need. As a research institute, what we normally do, we go out and research and do a thorough research, look at the area, whether it's emakhaya or ayikho emakhaya. Sibheke ukuthi why abantu bakhona be unemployed at this rate? What are the issues? And then we then look at developments akhona around the area, meaning companies. Ngingenza nje example njengokuthi mhlawumbe if you look at Richards Bay. You look at Richards Bay, you are told ukuthi there's RBM, there's so and so, there are companies. So when you then design programs, or design it in such a way that you know that the industry is going to absorb them. But again, before Ukala even training, you form partnership with all these companies around, so that when you train them, they don't go back home and sit down, but they are absorbed with the mainstream. So this is what we do. I think I can stand here and say we excel in what we're doing because of that. Because you need that exit strategy, train a band. It's useless if you're a trainer and leave them, because what they do, they then go and double dip. Each and every learnership that comes in the area, they go to it. They go to it, then the money is wasted. So I think one of the things that we did was that. I'm a project at NOUF, wonke are sustainable. We can always go back and say, in 2016 we did this, go there. You'll find the project is still there. I am standing here and I'm proud of abantwana that we trained in 2018. We trained them as deep divers. Some of them basebenza emkhumbini, bashisela imkhumbi. Others were trained on aviation, they're pilots today. And all that, it came from UIF. And akusiyo imali. People will think it's a lot of money. Akusiyo imali eningi. I know which part of your funding yet goes towards a stipend. Imali training yet is low. Everybody can sit here. We charge imali 10,000 rands, and yet we do all these things. But we came up with an idea that when we train a learner, we also put the tools of trade as part of it. So that when we train them, we buy them in Ntsiza, so when we leave, at least they've got umhlaba, they've got a piece of land, they've got hydroponics, or they've got young into that they need. Nutrients, they've got JoJo tanks, they've got irrigation system, they can actually maintain what we've left for them. Hence, we encourage them with babe trainer and group them spend cooperatives. They become cooperatives that we mentor, that we support, that we incubate. It needs money, but at some point, we have to do it more, which we want them to succeed. Because we don't want them, when you come back after two years, I say, infrastructure. It's either they've sold it, it's either bungene politics, because sekune ishenkulu ye politics ngiyaxolisa means ngoba nayo into ye politics ibuye ihluphe imoshe kakhulu. So ifuze ayenzi i-training, and we've been saying that. We're not a training institution. We are fully accredited by CETAs across. But training yet, it's a training with a twist, because we only train when we know that we can place a band. Today, with current project, we've trained learners around 19,921 as we speak. 14,000 of the learners, 14,771 were trained as food handlers. because of the partnership that we have, Department of Education at KZN. We train them. Today, I can stand here, ngithi baqashwe bonke labo bantu 14,771 bayasebenza bayakhona. Namba abantu baka education bakhona bazoza bazonitshela nabo. So sesingalala ebusuku sazi ukuthi asikhuluma ngeqiniso when we went to UIF to ask for this. And then we've got 5,000. 5,000, it's an enterprise development. They've been trained with mixed farming, but trained ama crops, but trained on ilwane, with special focus on poultry and piggery. It's a pity nje delegation akwazi ukuhamba wonke ama because isikhathi besisincane, but I think sizoplan and communications department swavisite wonke lawo document. And bona right now nje basikhuluma bazosho they have been submitting amagamabo to register ama cooperatives. We've registered 200 out of 500 efanele siwenze ewonke. The 200 is fully registered. But thanks to Raset, because sebeba allow ukuthi ba-trade noma be-train noma benzani. Nwabonile amaqanda, nisibonile inkukhu, bayasebenza bafuye inkukhu ezikhipha amaqanda bese beyayiproduce. La maqanda efanele aproduce every day, awu 80,000. But asikafiki khona. Ngiyathemba ukuthi sizofika. Nokuthi ke nathi I think njengoba ugovernment esesihlangabezile, it is up to lama cooperatives zethu now to grow. And grower, it's hard work. And look, we are here to assist them. And I think even partners that we have, bazoba assist. But abanye ba produce ama vegetables. Bonke lama cooperatives of 500. They are going to supply ikole la. Gama veg, nangamaqanda nangokunye. And it's a guaranteed market. Engege noma ngabe kuthiwa siyahamba noma bayaphuma kuthini, they will always have that market because we'll always have schools, we'll always have ama ibedlela. Abasa ukhula kwabo doesn't mean ukuthi bayosupply ikole only. They will also supply ama retail. I was saying this morning ukuthi we've got markets that people see what we do. We've got now a market yoku supply ama strawberries. Frozen, not the fresh ones. Frozen, nama blueberries. It's an international market thanks to eThekwini municipality. Angazi bakhona noma. Thank you, thanks, because Ibona who assisted us in all that. Meaning, ama UIF beneficiaries are growing. It is up to them ukuthi bayithatha lento abanikwa yona bayibamba ngesandla esinjani. We've got a good partnership with Nedbank. Nedbank assisted us in opening accounts. We had problems. This was a huge project. We had problems, but Nedbank went to all sites. We had over 400 sites. They went there, babavulisa ama accounts. They made sure ukuthi yonke into yabihamba kahle. But over and above that, baba provider training, consumer training. Also to make sure that they become good small business organizations. Further than that is to also assist them with big farmers and take them as outgrowers. We call our small local farmers as outgrowers because let's just say you've got a demand, you have to submit words and this is in ear better. So you go to small farmers and say, do you have tomato? Give it to me. Then we have with dice. So we would want to see that in the Nedbank. But further, entering into another space, I know we've got a project, no Nedbank, energy that we do. We produce energy and then sell it to municipalities. And that's another space, when we create employment. It's energy, aviation, maritime. Those three, they create umsebenzi kakhulu. And I would want to see us venturing into this space. So in a nutshell, ubudlelwane bethu buzale buya ngokukhula kuloku kuzale kwazala abantu abangu-19,920. And I'm hoping ukuthi it will grow. It might not grow with us as Ufuze, but Ufuze is here to assist abanye. We've got people here at the Sevenza Napa who own our companies up. Esingafisa ukuthi siba mentorish, siba assiste, ukuhamba baye phambili. Kube yiba baye UIF, bayofuna imali, and then bakwazi uku-implementa the very same projects esiwenzayo. They might not be the same, but ama-projects that are sustainable, that will make sure ukuthi abantwana baya-employer, or women cooperatives are created, because that's the best way to do. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. If there's anything that I've left, it's not that ngithi ngiyanizonda, kodwa I would like to thank ama-learners am. Angwaboni Thabubu, abantwana bami ngiyababonga. Ngiyazi ngiyalwa kakhulu. Ngicela ukubonga uDepartment of Education KwaZulu-Natal. Ngicela ukubonga uNedbank. Ngicela ukubonga ama-employers azongiqashela abantwana bami be-fiber optic. Ngicela ukubonga awukhona uLithabo. Khona i-pilot yethu ehleli la. Khona abantu engicela ukubabona ngibonge amajuba. But also thanking ama-facilitators. We saw and heard what abantwana were saying to show ukuthi bafundile ngempela. They know ukuthi umuntu mezoqala ukutshala umhlaba wenzani. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Thank you so much. Ngibonga ne-team yami, ngibonga noVusi. Siyabonga Vusi, siyabonga uMr. Nape, siyabonga uMr. Tejani, siyalwa all the time. Kuba ningisikhokheli in time. Bese beyasilwisa la basigijimisa namanje nje sikhuza leyo mpi. Kodwa ke siyathemba ukuthi moving forward we learn and be able to sikwazi ukusebenza kahle. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Thank you. Ngizocela nje abantwana abazonika i-testimony babe quicker, sibanika 2 minutes. Ngiyacela please. Kuyashisa asifuni ukuzela silale. 2 minutes when you are given isikhathi. Talk 2 minutes. Okay. Thanks.
Now I would like to. Can we just give the CEO another round of applause? Okay. Now can all the learners come in front? Because we want to be snappy. I see Litabo is already here. I can see Ms. Pillay is already ascending the podium. Lungelo Kaula, Luyanda Ngobo, Bayanda Zaka, Sipesihle. Let's just be ready. 2 minutes snappy, and then we head over to the next person. I'll just come after the last one. Thanks.
Good morning to the Honourable Minister and Official of Government. It gives me great pleasure to speak about our NSNP program at Redfern Primary School. I must say we are blessed with a band of dedicated and committed and skillful voluntary food handlers who do their share, who do their work with lots of passion, dedication and love. Although our day starts off very early in the morning, all of us look forward to come and serve our children at school. We are aware that our performance is very important, the task for the benefit of our children, so that they can learn and perform well at school. We work closely with the management and staff at school to plan the menu for the week, which ensure that we are catering for the 3 basic food groups every day: protein, carbohydrates, and fats, and the organization of the feeding during the day. We also work closely with our suppliers, ensuring that the ingredients provided are fresh and nutritious for our learners. We also make sure that the organization of the entire week at the time. We want to thank the department for the workshop that we have attended, which have improved our knowledge and skill in order to perform our duties well. We were given the opportunity to share our knowledge with other colleagues at other schools, and it's only thought as sharing the best practice that we can only get better by learning from each other. We are aware that it is our positive attitude with which we do our work that will make us and the learners happy. We are also thankful for the uniform and the safety equipments which ensured our wellness and safety. Finally, I want to thank the Department of the NSNP program, which not only provided meals for our learners, but also provided much needed employment for my colleagues and myself. Thank you.
Greetings everyone. Standing in front of you is Mandisa Dlamini. I am one of the learners in Lamontville site. As you all know that we are facing job scarcity in South Africa. So when I heard about the program, I decided to try my luck and apply. And then on the induction, I felt, On the induction, I wanted to know more about agriculture. I had acquired a lot of knowledge through a period, training, practicals, and making things much easier for us to acquire what we had learned in class. What I like most about the program is that we were practicing what we were being taught. So everything that we had done in the class has to be put up until practice. I would recommend the government that should continue supporting such programs, such programs indicating they help us eradicate poverty and knowledge and skills. And also, in behalf of Lamontville learners, we would like to thank UIF, Nedbank, Higher Education, and FUZE. Thank you.
Greetings everyone. I'm Lungeru Kauya I'm a fiber optic technician beneficiary. The learnership is about to end and I want to thank you for the training received. I understand that you offer limited opportunity each year and wanted to let you know how much the experience has meant for us. Your training made me realize how much I enjoy learning and challenging myself to keep improving. I also appreciate the support you offered, from the stipend to finding us job placements with good and relevant companies to our leadership. Thanks to your training and the workplace experience, I feel positive about our future and have set personal development goals to keep growing. Most of us, we are graduates who finished tertiary qualifications but had to stay at home due to the lack of job opportunities. These learnerships have given us our hope back, as you have made sure that you don't only take us for the training, but also guide us and groom us to be future entrepreneurs under the field of fiber. Working in an environment such as ICT has always been my future goal, and I hope to one day achieve that. Thank you once again for the opportunity, the experience, and the qualification and Thank you again for the opportunity, the experience, and the qualification will empower our future, and we are extremely grateful for the role you have played. Thank you to IF, thank you to FUZE Institute, thank you to every partner who has partnered with FUZE Institute to make our future great. Thank you.
Samonani, Dumelang, good morning everyone. My name is Letabo Tsunope, and I'm a commercial pilot license holder flying for South Africa's favorite low-cost airline, FlySafair. I'd like to start thanking my Lord and Savior. I'm here because of his strength. I'd also like to thank FUZE Institution for allowing me to speak. It's such a great honor. I honestly don't take it for granted. I realize that even though I stand here alone, I am speaking on behalf of many other people. I wanted to start with a brief summary of where I started. So I was born and raised in Soweto, and I never really had exposure to aviation. I'd never been to an airport, neither on an aircraft as well. And then when I visited my aunt in Kempton Park, I saw the aircrafts flying very low, approaching into OR Tambo International Airport, and then this is when I was like, this is really what I want to do. When I reached matric, my mom and I visited certain flight schools and airports to try and find a flight school. We found the airports, but the shock of our lives was how much it costs to actually start flying and starting your training. And this is where this very important point, from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank the UIF, the Department of Employment and Labor, and institutions such as FUZE for funding various careers and investing in our dreams. It is because of programs like this that I was funded from the very beginning in 2013 from my SPL, which is a student pilot license, all the way to my commercial pilot license with a grade 3 instructor's rating and a Boeing 737-800 rating as well. I know that I speak for many when I say that funding programs such as this one have been of great help to many of us. Hoping to see more funding programs such as this continue, where funding is also provided in other areas and fields of the aviation industry. And I'd like to also one day sit at the back of the auditorium and listen to someone else's success story in the aviation industry. One last time, I'd also like to thank the UIF, Department of Employment and Labor, and the FUZE Institution. Thank you for financing our dreams, thank you for believing in us, and thank you for making our dreams feel valid. Thank you.
Sanbonani. Greetings to our minister, dignitaries, all honored guests, and everyone ohlanganyele kanye nathi namhlanje. Igama lami uLuyanda Wagwalthuli, and I stand here today as a certified beauty and aesthetic therapist. Hence, as you can see, the beauty. Right, I stand here today with so much gratitude and appreciation in my heart. I am here to talk about my experience. With me, nail and beauty has been a thing that I fell in love with at a very early age. It started off as nail and beauty, and now it's heading the medical route. I recently joined a beautiful team in Maritzburg, Melanie Elegant Project, and I'm very grateful for them being able to entrust me with the vision that they have for their company. Oftentimes when we are afforded this opportunity, we tend to take it for granted. But I'd also like to address the students that are here today. I know they can hear me wherever they are. It's very important that when you've been given this chance, you take it and you run with it. Oftentimes with us, the youth, we take for granted everything that is given, like our labor activation program. But I can see today that I stand amongst many other people like myself who have been given this chance, and we take it and we run for the hills. So a big thank you to FUZE Institute also. Sibaningi sihlele emakhaya, kodwa sine skill. Njengamanje, they have given us a skill, and it's entirely up to us to just take it and run with it. Take it and do whatever you can with it. Ufake imali ephaketheni, ukhulise nekhaya. So I am very grateful and I'm honored to be addressing you guys today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Sanibona, cela ukwehlisa la. Igama ngobayanda ngwaza Sibongo from PMP. I can say all protocol observed so that to avoid time. Mina, I'm a head chef la eThekwini from the project. I started ngaphuma kuyona as soon as ngiphuma I got a job, and then I got a promotion to be head chef and the supervisor to 6 other chefs. So ukuthola umusa nothando from uMawuthandi kusinikeze noma kwasivulela iminyango ebesingathemba ukuthi ingavuleka. So ukuba kwethu under ifuze nokuba sothandweni lasefuze kusinikeze idea yokuthi impilo ayipheleli kuma boundaries of i-comfort zone yami, but kuneyindawo lengafinyelela khona and ibona basikhombisile ukuthi there are so many territories that need ilokhuza i-ownership. So thina basinikeza ukhiye to go and take ownership of ama skills besingazi ukuthi sinawo ukuthina kodwa bona bawavusile. So ngalokho siyabonga kakhulu, izandla zidlula ikhanda to everything that you do and you are going to do. Nokusikhumbula ukuthi la isikhona siyandinga for us to progress. Kusho likhulu ukuthini noba sibancinyane but nisikhombisile ukuthi iflower uma lizoblosoma it starts from the ground. So nina nisikhombisa umhlabathi ukuthi nanku we can plant isilo seed and iseed niyiplantile iya blossom manje and yinhle, siyabonga kakhulu.
Siyabonga bafethu. Young people are smiling, they're quite happy, energetic. That is good. Now, sijahile, without much ado, we'll hand over to our technicians to play us the video of the current and previous projects. Over to you, gents. Sorry, where are you going to flight it? Because the minister is also interested. Where are we? I'm the minister. Yeah.
Igama lami Khanyisile Wazuma, ngiyimentor la kuma-learners waseThethe athole i-learnership from Fuze. So we are busy planting vegetables like spinach, carrots, butternut.
Njengamanje sine project esinayo njengoba niyibona la emva kwethu, i-project lena ethe yaxhaswa abawafuze kube abonokusho kanye nabawa UIF.
Ngiyabona ukuthi COVID idlale lubi kulomphakathi wethu wabantu abamnyama la khona siphelelwe amathuba emisebenzi. So siyabonga kakhulu ke kuyifuze now umkomelo wabo ngemumva kwami kunabantu abawu 350 abahlomulile kule project. Sibonge kakhulu ne-UIF ungenelela kuma financial muscles ekutheni benze le program ukuthi beyimpumelelo.
And kukhula abakufundayo abaningi kade bengazi lutho ngotshani. Bebengazi lutho ngemulching okubeka utshani ukuthi suke senzela nje ukuthi amanzi agcineke emva kokuchelela ukuthi isitshalo sidla amanzi more even though ukuthi waqhamuka ilanga but isitshalo astrugglish.
Then kuzoba ama PPE abathe basilethela wona futhi.
So I hope even in the future they will bring more such good programs because they help our learners here at iThethe.
Wonke ama-councillors ala Estenga endaweni yakwaDukuza ayithathe ixaxeba lokuthi afune ama-private sectors ekutheni athuthukise imiphakathi yawo, angalindi ugovernment ungenelele. Asisukume siwumphakathi sizenzele, ugovernment uzosithola ngendlela.
ngingumfundi njengoba singaphansi kweproject yakafuze sifundele e-Best Center. Ngingumfundi manje sokwenza ama-practical lapha njengokubona bebhizi lapha.
Going to the background of it first, where the program is, I think, is specifically designed to uplift abantu. Thina e-Best Center we've been lucky that the majority of abantu is youth that have joined the program.
Le projects le ukuthi ibaluleke kakhulukazi thina njengabantu abansundu yabo, ngoba ukutshala siyazi nje sonke ukuthi ukutshala into eyimvelaphi yethu, maye igqugquzela nabanye ukuthi bagcine bekhuthazeka ukuthi siyenze.
We've managed to get through most of the challenges. It's also been a lot of fun. We've met a lot of people. We've set up co-ops, we've set up new businesses. People have met business partners. People have had friends. And we're hoping that towards the end of it, people will also grow from it.
Ngizocela nje ukubonga nje abakafuze no-UIF njengokubambisana kwabo abathe basisiza ngakho. Siphinde sibonge ne-stipend abasinika sona. Ngoba bayakhona ukuthi basinike i-stipend njengoba sila nje, njengoba mina ngumfundi, njengoba ngila njengomfundi.
I'd like to thank them for providing me with the opportunity of providing also the other guys and the students with the opportunity to take part in this program.
Khulumayo uNtokozo wakaNdlovu Nottingham Road, umfundi wakafuze besikade sifunda senze theory enyangeni edlulile izimbalwa, njengoba silana ke siqhubeka nepractical yethu eyintweni esiyifundile.
We started planting ukukhuya on the other side for inkomo, maqhutshekwa, then we harvested potatoes, nakhona there were indlela zokuwa harvester, then they use a tractor like hire, and then my students beqhamuka ngemuva ewaphika.
Sifunde ngeyilwane kanye nezitshalo, so inhlabathi before utshale kuyona uyayitesta. Sifunde izinto ezinjenganalezo, safunda nangeyilwane ezihlukahlukene, sifunde ngenja, safunda ngehashi, safunda ngenkomo, safunda ngengulube.
If ukuthi phela le project le bakwazi ukuthi baqhubeke bazenzele okwabo, kuvaleke lesikhala lesi stipend ade besithola, bazi ukuthi nene kulama co-ops esebewaqalile kunenzuzo abazoyithola and izinto zizoqhubeka, ngeke kuze kube nje into ephelela la manje, into eqhubekayo for future.
Sikwazi ukuthi in future sizenzele nathi izinto ezizosinika ikusasa, hayi ukuthi ngaso sonke isikhathi kumele sicele noma kumele siyosebenzela umuntu.
Sibonga kakhulu for the opportunity, engathi ne program ingaqhubeka for those ingakafiki kubona engathi ingafika. Sibonga kakhulu.
Igama lami nginokubonga ngwakamthethwa, ngisuka esigodini sasesifuzwe ngaphansi kuNduna uGumede.
Igama ngubongani ngowasikhakhane, ngisuka Empangeni, eDlangezwa, eNduneni uMpanza, Nkosi yendawo, umkhwanazi.
Ngibonga uJel Dube ngokuthinta iy'nduna zethu, umphakathi wangakithi ukuthi bafuna iy'ngane abazoyifundisa.
I couldn't afford to go to the film school, but JL Dube gave me that opportunity ukuthi ngingene in the industry.
Kufike uMamthandi ezofuna abafundi for ukuthi bakwazi ukuthi babenze ama learnership lawo.
Ngiyayibonga kakhulu iJLD ngoba ingivula amehlo yangenza ukuthi ngikwazi ukuyimela.
Igama lami nguHlengiwa Hadel. Ngila esaloni yami engiyakhile from ngiqede ukufunda eJLD. Ngiyabonga kakhulu uJel Dube, JLD ngalethuma anginikeze lona.
Igama lami nguFezeka Wakashandu, ngihlala eMlazi. When I heard about the program, I saw it on Facebook, somebody posted. Funny enough is that nga-apply by BC Response, I was accepted and I was very excited.
Branching out to a sky, we are a family, we are so much more.
Igama lami uThokozani Wakashabane. I'm a dive master.
Igama lami Luleka waSkotoyi. Ngokukhama ngisuke eBizana.
Igama lami uVumlane waNdwalane Sibongo.
Sibonga kakhulu because ithina ngabanye kusifice ifice le program sihlele emakhaya singenzi lutho.
Igama lami nguKhensi Lewazuma. Ngiyimentor la kuma-learners asethethe athole i-learnership from Fuze. So we are busy planting vegetables like spinach, carrots, butternut.
Njengamanje sine project esinayo njengoba niyibona la emva kwethu.
Thank you very much to our technicians. And now, colleagues, we are behind with about 10 minutes, but I think we'll recover. The next session we dealt with now with the learners. We will now move to the employers, or to be employers for the learners. We will first start call to the stage Mr. John Sagut from the Aviation Academy of Fuze. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Sambonani. You can see that I'm with aviation and not beauty and nail technology. I think you tell by the hair. First of all, I'd like to thank UIF for the support they've given us in the past. The Minister, the MEC, Commissioner, the generosity and the support you've given us has made a huge difference in our sector. I've been flying for 45 years. I've been involved in flight training in South Africa for 30 years. It's still a disappointment to me when we consider in the last 25 years transformation in our sector has really gone at a snail's pace. With only 10 to 12% black African representation in professional capacities, pilots, engineers in the country, we still have a huge task ahead of us. FUSE have given me the opportunity to be part of their team. I'm head of the Aviation Academy. We have a state-of-the-art facility at Orobi Airport. We look at training and empowerment as a program. It's a transfer of skills, it's training, skills, knowledge, attitudes, but it goes much further than that. We've recognized that some of the shortfalls in the industry in the last 20, 25 years have been the result of poor selection strategies and a lack of placement. Often cadets who graduate are left to their own devices, and that's very serious to us. And as the CEO mentioned earlier, that placement isn't, it's not for debate. We have to place our students. So our graduates in that light will qualify not just with the licenses required by the Civil Aviation Authority, but we're going to train them with skills that have been identified in the industry by TITA, the Transport CETA, the scarce skills that the industry lacks. So our graduates will qualify with the licenses required. They'll also qualify with soft skill certificates for skills such as quality management, aviation management, and safety. We're also not just addressing the shortfall of pilots in the sector, but we're training engineers in aeronautical engineering, radio technology, and avionics. And we have an exciting drone project to accompany that. My passion is flight training. My passion is training. The 45 years of experience I have in the industry, nothing makes me happier than to transfer skills to see the development of young people. Letabo stood up earlier, and her and her husband were cadets of mine. I was responsible for their training on their apprenticeship with the Red Cross Air Mercy Service. And I can tell you that she inspires me. You heard how well she spoke. She's the future. We talk about 10% of representation. We have a huge task ahead of us to assess the lack of women in our industry as well. I'm so proud of her and her husband. We flew for 2 years. We flew every other day. I got to know them very, very well. And it'll bring a tear to my eye to tell you that her and her husband call me their aviation father. Well, Letabo, if you're still listening, you're my aviation daughter. And for all of those here, let me tell you that women make better airline pilots than men do. So apologies to the men's egos in the room. Finally, I'd just like to thank FUSE for giving me the opportunity to be part of this program. Particular thanks to the CEO, Thandi Siyabonga Kakulu. Thank you, and thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much, John. He has promised to stick to time, and indeed, he was just above by 26 seconds, so he was still within his 3 minutes. Thank you very much for sticking to time, sir. Now we will go to the Department of Economic Development, that is RASET, KwaZulu-Natal. Over to you. But as I was engaging with John, asking him whether will I be taken as a pilot, he said to me, I must first work on my belly. People with big bellies like mine, they cannot be accepted there. Over to you, ma'am, from RASET.
Thank you, Program Director. Greetings to our Honorable Minister. Greetings to our MEC Mshengu. I believe he was supposed to be with us today, but it is important that I acknowledge MEC Mshengu in his absentia. Also, greeting to the Mayor again. Angazi noma ugcine sefikile, but those are the people that we are working with kwi-RASET program. I will try to be short. I think most of you, after you've looked at the video there's nothing to say. We are so excited to be a partner in this program. If I can indicate, Honorable Minister, that FUZE was the first institute that said to us, we want to partner with the RASET program. I believe some of you understand what the RASET program is about. This is a program that was adopted by the province of KwaZulu-Natal in 2016, which seeks to transform the sector of agriculture. As we all know that our sector is highly monopolized, if I can put it that way. Under RASET program, we work with number of departments, Department of Education, hence I highly acknowledge MEC Mshengu. We work with Department of Health, Social Development. Those are the departments who are making sure that when whatever that you saw there, ingane say producile, that produce, they buy all of it. Konke lokhuya. I think you know that how difficult for a small scale farmer to access a market. It is very difficult. So in this program, we are trying to assist and make sure that our small scale farmers, they do get a space in the market. Not only for the government market, we are also supplying, or our farmers are supplying the private market. Currently, we have about 24 private markets that RASET program, this program is supplying. I'm not going to mention them, but there are 24, and those are private markets. So you will understand if I'm talking about private market, the issues of compliances, the issues of, there's so many things that you have to comply with. So we really honored to be part of this program. Firstly, I must apologize for my HOD. He was looking forward to be part of this engagement. However, kunamanye ama-commitment amthathile, I feel I must say that ngaze ngigcine sengiphelelwe umsebenzi. I believe that if we can work together, njengoba sisebenza kanjena, lot can be achieved. You have seen what has been done, what we are continue to do. We want to commit ourselves as government employees to say that when the president indicated in his speech, he said he wants to see a capable state. So we want to commit ourselves ukuthi sizosebenza ngokuzinikela nangokuba professional as possible as we can to ensure that programs afana nalawa they don't just disappear, they continue and give birth to more programs that are still coming. And we believe that if we work together, we can be able to address the issues of job creation, nogunye. I'm not going to dwell much, but we are so excited and we are honored to be partner with FUZE institution. We are hoping that, I think Umam indicated that kule phase under farming, mixed farming, the institution trained 5,000 farmers. But I would like to indicate that in KZN, we still have a huge number of farmers who are still waiting for such opportunities to come. So we are pleading with our principals to say that this shouldn't be the end of the journey. It should be the start of the work. Yesterday I was at Umkhanyakude. I think I met about more than, due to COVID, obviously, I must be within, more than 2,000 farmers, not more, 2,000 farmers. And I started to explain i-program efana njengalena, and they were so excited to be part of such program. So, Minister, we want to affirm and confirm and commit ourselves, ukuthi we are going to partner, we are partnering with you for the success of this program. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I will now call the CEO of Ithala Bank. She has requested to spend 20 minutes, and we have agreed. Over to you, CEO.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Yeah, I've got quite a lot to say, but I'm not going to say it today because the time is very short. But before I start, I'd like to greet the Minister of Employment and Labour, Obabutula Snesi, again the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Mkhize Kabazela, and all the board members that are here from all the institutions that are partners with UIF. And then I'd like also to greet, I've seen Mr. Maruping, who was wearing a nice overall and a tie. I didn't know that they go so well together. I don't know if he's still here. But also, you know, all the people from Department of Education, I've met someone, and I know that Dr. Siponze Mande is also here, and the project leaders of tourism and marketing, the eThekwini. We also have a very good partnership with eThekwini as Ithala Development Finance Corporation. Ithala Bank is our part, is one of our subsidiaries, rightly as he has put it, that I am from Ithala. With the partnership that we have with FUZE, as Ithala, we first signed our MOU in 2020, where we saw a lot of students that were trained here under properties, and we took 42 students, and they came to our properties to do some assessment. When you look at the IDFC, you're talking about Ithala Development Finance Corporation. We do have a DFI where we lend money to SMMEs. We are the second biggest owner of properties in KZN. I know some of our properties don't look so good, but we do own that much of properties. We do have Ithala Soc as our bank as well, and quite a number of subsidiaries. And it is not by mistake or by accident that we do have this partnership, because from what we do, we always need professionals or people that have got skills. We all are aware wherever we're working that skills are definitely not there. So from the skills part, whoever is trained here will be able to get to our institution for internship. But if they don't want to do internship, or if they don't want to be, employees, they can be employers. We have a division as well as where we train our SMMEs under DUT, where people that have trained here can also train as entrepreneurs, so that they can run their own businesses. So there's quite a lot that we can do with them. If you look at us with the properties, we do own properties. If any of the students here as well want to, occupy, we have industrial parks, big ones. Isithebe, we have big companies that are there. Some of them being owned even, in Cape Town and Stellenbosch. But they are here because of the rates that we are giving. We have another industrial park in Ezakheni and Matadeni where they can use them. We have about 21 shopping centers. We've got a lot of properties, a lot of vacant land. If you do need some vacant land for your students to develop whatever they are going to develop. And with what has been said by UDG this morning, I just saw Uguti, really, there is so much what to do in partnership with UIF, with FUZE, and ourselves as Italia Development Corporation. We're definitely looking forward to what is being launched today. We have farmers. If you look at our book and our DFI, 75% of our book, it's farmers. And you know that farmers were distressed even before COVID because of the drought that they went through. And I can't wait until I get the students that will come and help us in assessment of those farms, looking at those farms, looking how we can position them so that they can work again. We do own some farmers as well as IDFC. We are very rich, we have everything. So those farmers that we own, I'll be honest, nothing is happening because of the drought, and people just left them. Some of them were just left by the people that were leasing them. So we're looking forward to this project so much that really Minister DG would like to thank you, and what definitely I'm just committing myself. I'm committing myself. We are definitely going to work. This is our Tatama students, and we have taken them before. The 42 that we took last time, they did a wonderful job and they were committed. They really wanted to work. So I heard now you're talking thousands, so you can bring those thousands. I do own, we do own some mining as well. If some are trained under mining, they can help us with our mine, which is not working at this point in time. So there's quite a lot that really we can really work together, DG, through UFUZE. So we do have an MOU with the university through UFUZE. So, Kabazel, let us work. I know there's always a new way of doing things, and I really love this new way of doing things. In fact, Itala, when it was formed, it was for job creation. When these industrial parks were formed, it was only just to create jobs. That's why you find that we still have Whirlpool, the richest company, renting 7 rand a square meter, just because they were employing about 4,000 people. You would get your rent amount not at the market value on how many people we are going to employ. So it's not by mistake that we are together in this one room, and I really want us to work together with FUZE. Thank you very much. I know Utandi approached us and we were saying, we're not sure, we don't know if we can do this with you, but it has been a very, very helpful and partnership that with us, and really, thank you.
My difficulty is that I'm not a podium there. Now we'll call Mawande Kushugu, or Kushu rather, from Nedbank, who's just gonna give us a snappy input from Nedbank. Thank you very much. Come, sir.
Enkosi mhlali ngaphambili. To the Honorable Minister, Minister Thulas Nxesi, Mhlonitshwa, doctors and professors that are in the house, distinguished guests, fellow colleagues, I would like to take this opportunity this afternoon and say molweni. Thank you very much. Today marks a very important milestone in the calendar of FUZE, its partners, as well as all the UIF and LAP beneficiaries. This program, when I looked at it, we feel honored as Nedbank, to be, part of this program. In that there are definitely many, many other programs that are out there which have good intentions, but delivery, is something that, is very questionable. There's a famous phrase here that is used by many people. I know that Desmond Tutu, our late Bishop, used the same phrase. If you give a man a fish, you will feed him for one day. But now, if you show the person, how to fish, then you have fed that person for the lifetime. Looking at the UIF as well as LAP initiative, that is fueled or that is supported by FUZE, I think the project fits exactly like a glove to those words, because it does not help us to give somebody something today and tomorrow they are back in our doors. But listening earlier on to the beneficiaries, how the program has changed their lives, we are excited as Nedbank to be part of this program. Our involvement has been up until now centered around client education. We all know the challenges that we have in South Africa, challenges around unemployment, high debt to income ratio, and financial literacy in general. And these challenges are causing what you call the social injustice within our communities. So we have been trying to bridge this gap by making sure that the consumer education get to the beneficiaries. And later on, we'll be handing over the certificate as well, because of the diligence of the beneficiaries. The program itself, has run very, very well, and we're happy to say that we're looking forward to partnering, with FUZE even in other projects. Earlier on, Dr. Ngobo made a request, to Nedbank. I don't want to sit here and make commitments, because when you're excited, you must be careful of making commitments, because you'll make a commitment, that it means that you have to go to the moon. But Doctor, all I can say is that we have listened and we have heard. Your request is not unreasonable, around setting incubator, for the continuity and the sustainability of this project. So we're looking forward to continuing working with FUZE, as well as the other partners. We are committed as Nedbank. Our unwavering commitment, still remains in our communities. That if there's anything that we want to do, want to ensure, that our communities, they live a life of dignity, joy and happiness. I think that's what FUZE, as well as Department of Labor is trying to do. Because dignity is that which you are not able, that you are able to do for your children. If your children are looking, to go to school and are not able to pay for that, then your dignity is stripped away from you. So FUZE, we are saying thank you, for inviting us to be part of this partnership. It means a lot to us, and maybe ngokuvalelisa because ixesha lami liphelile, and ndicela nje ukuthi phambili to the partnerships that are aimed at supporting our communities to be better and make sure that there's sustainability in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Siyabulela Mhlekazi, uyanivuselela ngoba I almost said uzoyithola kanjani mhlelekoneni, but this is a different platform. Sharon, are you ready? I'm ready. Okay, thanks. Let's welcome Sharon, the COO of My Techie Pty Ltd. Over to you, Sharon. Come.
Sure. Durban Summer. Thank you, Program Director, Honourable Minister, Office of the Mayor, MMC, to all our wonderful ladies and gentlemen and future entrepreneurs. Thank you for giving My Techie the very quick opportunity, and I know time is of the essence. My Techie is little different as a company in that we are an app-based organization like an Uber, whereby if you need a technician in any sector, you can on the app book your technician to be immediately available. How often do we need a technician? And they've got to come from X or Y. So we are local technicians in local communities for the communities. One of the key objectives of My Techie is to match the skills of artisans, technicians, and engineers in the communities they live in, and then to market the needs in the same proximity. However, we also look at market needs in the area, and we identify if there is a gap in the skill set of the local candidates, and we encourage My Techies to get new market-relevant micro-credentials to augment their skill set and consequently their earning potential in the communities that they live. Competent technicians are enlisted, and we ensure that they're being trained and certified for the tasks they are doing and able to serve their communities and give back to their communities. Service providers will be able to select their technicians or team of their choice and dispatch them to their zone to undertake everything from inside plant surveys, optical fiber drops, cabling, installations, and equipment commissioning. We've had some wonderful corporate partners that have given us some projects that have ensured that My Techies can grow and develop as their own entrepreneurs and ultimately be employees. We've undertaken the installations of VSAT via QCon in the Northern Cape, and when the IEC needed connectivity for the local elections, we had an electrician and a technician available in the Northern Cape in Kathu. Supersonic air fibre is rolling out in Gauteng, and we've had some wonderful initiatives of local people in Mamelodi who have done the air fibre installations, and I'm very pleased to say that they'll soon be rolling out to KwaZulu-Natal and the Western Cape. We obviously need to ensure that people are directly employed, and we need to get more and more contracts from the corporate environment and indeed government sector to make a meaningful impact in the lives of these technicians. Very often we're at the very end of the supply chain, and the technician who's doing the actual job is getting the least amount of money. We aim to build South African-owned businesses so that we can make a difference in the future of our country and its diverse population. I will be available, and if anybody wants to understand the app, but thank you, Minister, thank you, Program Director.
Okay, now in the interest of time, although we are doing well with time, as far as program directing is concerned, because we started a bit late, but we've recovered. Now I will call Ms. Nelisiwe Gumede, and immediately after Ms. Gumede, we'll call Smakade to the podium. So over to you from eThekwini Municipality. Ms. Gumede, you can come forward.
Good afternoon, greetings everyone. A special greetings to our minister. I'm Nelisiwe Gumede from eThekwini Municipality. I'm from Agribusiness Department that falls under business support, market, tourism, and agribusiness. We are in a sector whereby we're focusing more on SMMEs in agricultural value chain. We're developing them in terms of improving their productivity. As eThekwini Agribusiness Department, we have an approved agribusiness master plan by our council. It was approved in 2020, whereby it have some commodities that we're focusing on, that we'll be focusing on in the next 10 years. Those commodities are vegetable, poultry, sheep, piggery, and cannabis. Those are the agricultural value chain commodities that we work with. We provide the services like business advisory, mentorship, extension support, access to market. We're working closely with URASET program as agribusiness department. So we are very grateful with this initiative by UFUZE, because we can see that their services or the skills development that have conducted to our youth, they are so linked to our commodities or to our agricultural value chain as eThekwini that we're working with. So we welcome and we are grateful. We are promising that we'll work together just to achieve in the value of agriculture and then make sure that they promote and then they sell, they do in markets, then go available. Then we also appreciate infrastructure and the support that has been provided by UFUZE, because I think it set a foot for us as agribusiness. When we work together, we'll have something that we are improving or that we're working on. So we appreciate the initiative and we will support the project going forward. We'll link and align our programs and we'll work together and we'll achieve. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Program Director, Minister, DG, colleagues, private and the public sector, thank you very much, and thanks to God for making this day possible. I was looking to see more Farmer Food in Ada because this is about them as much as it's about all the partners that are part of this program. I would like to thank everyone that made this day possible. I'm the CEO of Intermediate Data Systems, and I was born out of a learnership. Intermediate Data Systems came out of a learnership, and today it's an employer. We employ young members of society within the electronic space, within the cybersecurity space, and just general ICT. This helps us to bridge the digital divide within our country. So thank you for making this thing a possibility, UIF, Fuse Institute, and all the members that are present here today. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. All right, to the learners, wherever they are, if they can hear me, you've been awarded this opportunity to make something out of yourselves and make something of your communities. You've got everything that you need within your reach. You've got your imagination, you've got the skills, you've got the trust, you are likable, you've got the time on your side, you're still young, you've got the opportunity. Please take this and make sure that you run with it. Make sure that you pass on, and you make sure that you employ other people and help us grow this country in terms of reducing the skills gap and making sure that employment is something that is not running at high percentage, but we strive to bring it down. To government and the private sector, thank you for the help, thank you for the partnership, banking, access to funding for young entrepreneurs and young employers, thank you for that. The last part in terms of cooperatives. Cooperatives, I think, are the best way to go forward in terms of us as young people working together. If we want to go far, we need to go together, and we need to go there slowly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, as I'll be calling the principal to the fore, Mr. Mlotshwa, who I also happen to serve with him in one other structure. We are colleagues. You know, there's a research by the VETS, Center for Research and Labor, that I will talk about immediately after the principal is done, about the critical skills and the soft skills. Over to you, Principal.
Thank you very much, Josopi. Indeed, we are serving with him in National Skills Authority. He is the chairperson of capacity building and governance, and I'm his deputy. I'm not sure whether I also meet in HRDC where I serve in EXCO. But let me greet the Honorable Minister, our former General Secretary of SATU. He has crossed the floor. But if there is a perfect placement of a minister, this is the very perfect minister. Because he was fighting the battles of labor when he was the secretary, but now he has to deliver on what he was fighting for. That's why we don't worry, because we know that we are represented. Let me also greet Prof. Mkhize, Assistant Dr. Ngobo. Ngolos, I just want to give you a special greeting from Itala. You said we have land, you have farms, that's what we want, so I greet you. And I have to speak to you. And my special greeting as well to the Department of Education in KwaZulu-Natal, Wabundosi, no Mama Smelane, and I can't leave my immediate supervisor, Dr. Sipho Nzimande. I also greet him, and I want to greet everybody, Yanbingelela Bafundi and all other officials. Sebeshilo ukuthi uSanele Mlotshwa, I'm the principal of Majuba TVET College, one of the biggest colleges in South Africa. In fact, in KwaZulu-Natal, we are the biggest. We may be second biggest in the country, but we want to claim our first position there as well. I'm not only the principal of Majuba, I'm also the president of South African College, a public colleges organization, which is called SACPO, which is an organization of all 50 TVET colleges in the country. And we are partnering with the Fuse Institute. And I'm happy that Standi chose Majuba to partner with you. Not only in this project, but in a number of other projects, we are partnering, not only with SACPO, with Majuba as SACPO as well. In this project, we reviewed the manual or the syllabus for the chefs, and we satisfied ourselves as a college that it meets the required standards. That is why we agreed as a college that we will also issue certificates for all those who are being trained for chef. 14,700 certificates. As much as we agreed that we will definitely issue them. We monitored in a sample basis few sites where the training was happening. But as SACPO, we also partnered when we had to look at the issues of PPE, and I think we are also satisfied that it met the required standards. So we offer ourselves as a college to help even in future projects. If you think of education and training, think Machuba, because great minds think Machuba. Not that other colleges are not doing it, but we pride ourselves by providing quality. And in our units, we have established a new unit called Entrepreneurship Unit. That's why when we say we have established some cooperatives, as a college, we are ready to train them and give them quality training and assist them to tap into fundings that are available around the country. We are there to help, and we are present to help. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mlochwa. Now, I said there's a study by the VET Center of Researching Education and Labor, when they were tasked to develop a document on the skilling of ERRP skill strategy. One of the things they found was that employers, they are saying now one of the skills they need is critical thinking. Another study found that employers also, one of the skills on top of the technical skills that they need is soft skills. And that was confirmed when the lab committee of the UIF went to East London Mercedes-Benz Learning Academy. They told us in no unequivocally so that one of the things that as employers they don't want to do, they don't want to teach employees soft skills, how to communicate, etiquette, and mannerism and so on and so forth, that some of the people that they fired because they lack those soft skills, and also the process of interviewing. I'm saying this thing that I hope that as we move forward with the training minister, we will also monitor labor market trends and what the current research tells us, that we don't only focus on the technical skills, but now employers, the labor market is changing, and there are certain expectations now, and there's new research on what employers are expecting, and I've cited just 2 companies now that can be verified, and there are studies about that probably as we move forward. Now I'm saying this as a preface because now we'll be calling the Department of Education to the fore to come and speak, that probably they may confirm or rebut what I've just said. Now we'll hand over to the Department of Education because the MEC, as we can see, he is not here with us. So immediately after that, we'll come in and then over to the minister before the room gets exhausted. Over to you, Ndosi Babutla.
Honorable Minister of Employment and Labor, Babutula Nxesi, we really are pleased to be with you this afternoon. And at this point, let me tender humble apologies from our Honorable MEC, Ubabu Mshengu, who couldn't be with us because of other pressing commitments. In his absentia, I'd like also to recognize the MEC for Education, Ubabu Mkagwe, and I would also like to also greet His Worship Councillor Mxolisi Kaunda in his absentia, Professor Mkhize, the Vice Chancellor in absentia, UKZN Council, Chief Executive Officer of Fuze Institute for Humanitarian Praxis, Dr. Thandi Ngcobo, Director General present, Head of Department present, senior officials, beneficiaries of the program, greetings to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, the KwaZulu-Natal 6th Administration identified 8 priority areas for the province of KwaZulu-Natal, which amongst them is to fight against the triple challenge of unemployment, poverty, and hunger. The department then has a responsibility to respond positively to the provincial call and plan to address the unemployment, poverty, and hunger. Today, I would like to make sure that we focus on the 4 areas which are growing the economy, job creation, growing SMMEs and cooperatives, and the last one, which is the education and skills development. The Department of Education, through many of its directorates, such as the National School Nutrition Program, strives to ensure that there is alignment with these provincial priorities and the provincial plans and the things that they do to contribute towards the provincial plans. Minister, we must indicate that it is not easy and it is not an easy task to make a meaningful contribution to these provincial priorities when globally the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic have had a devastating effect on economies. Developing countries such as ours are struggling to recover, and studies have shown that more people are now living below the poverty line. Almost 3 million South Africans have lost their jobs due to the pandemic and the subsequent lockdown. However, it's very important to mention that whilst many of the people have shared the jobs, the Department of Education is pleased, as it has been indicated before, that it has been in a position to create many work opportunities during the 2020-21 financial year in the fight against unemployment, poverty, and hunger. The department has fought this battle in 2 fronts. In schools by providing meals which are nutritious to deserving learners, and in communities by creating jobs to unemployed youth and in particular women as volunteer food handlers. The CEO for FUSA has indicated that the number of employed volunteer food handlers are 14,771 who have been trained. And we are saying, let us give a big round of applause on that one. Minister and the House, the strictures imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic has called for the department and the country as a whole to step up its health and safety protocols at all levels. In the case of the National School Nutrition Program, it has then become mandatory to have standardized safety protocols for all schools to ensure that risk in contracting the virus is mitigated. More so that the department was under the structural interdict where there was a court order directing that all benefiting learners be fed, whether they were attending or not attending. The implications, therefore, Minister and the House, of the volunteer food handlers being absent due to any one of them having contracted the virus were going to be too great a risk, and therefore strict measures had to be implemented and to be adhered to safeguard the rights of learners and the interests of the department against the unprecedented conditions of the COVID-19 pandemic. The department has learned lessons in the 2020-21 financial year that safe handling of food is a skill which needs to be nurtured and inculcated prior to the commencement of employment in order to have employees who are better prepared for any eventuality which may present itself as dangerous or as an emergency or requiring good understanding of food preparation in large scale and kitchen safety protocols. Individuals involved in handling and preparation of food during the COVID-19 pandemic need to be capacitated with adequate skills to ensure compliance, curb the spread of the pandemic, and adhere to the food safety protocols. The future of the country are the children in schools who depend on this nutrition. Therefore, its preparation must meet the minimum. Poor food quality, inadequately cooked food results in food poisoning. It is just a risk that we can never afford to have and cannot afford to take, because such risk exposes children and it exposes the future of the province to existential threat. Failure to mitigate potential challenges in food preparation is exposing learners to potential existential threat, and empowerment through knowledge is the only mitigation available to prepare volunteer food handlers to prevent these dangers. Indeed, it is pleasing to report, as indicated by Dr. Tandi Ngcobo, that the skills that have been provided and the knowledge provided to 14,771 trained volunteer food handlers are now in the employ of the Department of Education for a period of 2 years. And there is confidence that whenever there is anything that they are encountering, children are not going to be in danger because they have been trained and they know exactly how to handle anything that has to do with food, from checking whether the food items that have been delivered are in good quality to cooking quantities that are adequate. Minister, human resource development is the most profound empowerment any government can give to its people because it provides the changing in lives. It contributes to the change in lifestyles. It changes the lives of children, families, and communities. The department would not have been able to do it without the partnership with Fuse Institute, which has come at a time which is most crucial to have the volunteer food handlers have the necessary skills for the kitchens. The department is indeed grateful that the Department of Employment and Labor, through its labor activation program, UIF heeded the call to address the skills development and capacity challenge that threatens the employability of the youth and communities which are ravaged by the poverty. Honorable Minister for Employment and Labor, Mr. Thulas Nxesi, is honestly saluted for leading from the front in fighting the triple challenge of unemployment, poverty, and hunger. Ezandleni bakwethu. The two areas of growing the economy and growing the SMMEs and cooperatives. In this troubled economic climate, the Honorable MEC for Education, Mr. Gwazim Shengu, whilst focusing on delivering quality teaching and learning, ensures that fighting the triple challenge of unemployment, poverty, and hunger remains in his radar. As such, under his leadership, he has kept the department at the highest contributor of job creation in the EPWP. Furthermore, as part of promoting economic participation of small businesses and cooperatives, the MEC has ensured that the department does not only espouse the values of job creation, but makes these a reality by driving and maintaining the strategy of the National School Nutrition Program, contracting over 2,000 service providers comprising 1,977 SMMEs and 78 cooperatives to supply and deliver food items to participating schools in the National School Nutrition Program. It is under the leadership of the current MEC Umqhagwe that the department will continue to contribute to the improvement of livelihood of poor communities, employing 14,937 volunteer food handlers. We need to indicate, Minister, that this has not been done coincidentally. It ties with the strategy of the department, where we're indicating that we would like to have a safe school environment for teaching and learning. It also ties with the sustainable development goals of ending hunger, achieving food security, and improved nutrition, and also sustainable development goal number 17, where the strengthening of the implementation of the global partnerships. We are saying and calling and making a call that let us continue to make a meaningful contribution in growing KwaZulu-Natal together. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Fuse, for changing lives.
Colleagues, we are under pressure in terms of time. Now we'll call upon the minister. All of us, we know the minister, there will be introduction. Simazi from the Labour Union Movement, and now as a minister. Immediately after the minister, then the learners will be issued with certificates. Thank you very much. Over to you, Minister.
Under pressure to pressurize. Oh, sorry. Asikho under pressure. Pressurize ngusabela. To you know, when the director of this program was talking about going up a mountain that the school is on top. It's reminding me of a real story. Prof, the one portfolio committee, which has no name, was doing oversight and went into this province in the Eastern Cape to inspect the projects which were being run. Then the officials said, okay, it's a long road. Then they set off in cars, winding up the hills, and then on top of the hill, they said, honorable members, do you see that mountain range where there's big fire there? Most of the projects are behind that. So we're used to this. Okay. Thanks very much to you, Program Director, and in absentia, His Worship, the Mayor, Councillor Mxolisi Kaunda. Let me greet the Deputy VC, Professor Mkhize, and the CEO of FUZE, of course, Tanding Nobo. The many partners who are here from the Department of Economic Development, Itala Development Bank, and the Retail and Business Banking, the project leader for Business Support, Tourism and Markets in the municipality, Maiteki, the communications and project managers in immediate data systems, the various institutions who are here, education institutions. I say the TVET College is here of Amajuba. Let me also recognize the Honorable Mr. Kwazi Mshengu in absentia as MEC. My DG, the Commissioner, and all the senior officials who have accompanied the DG, with Dr. Sipho Nzimande from Higher Education and Training, and most importantly, the representatives of the beneficiaries. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to this important occasion, the launch of this UIF Labor Activation Program. We call it LEP. It's a job creation project jointly with FUZE Institute for Humanitarian Praxis. I think we can all agree that in the face of the rising unemployment, all efforts to create and preserve jobs and to provide employable skills are to be welcomed. Today we are launching this training projects aimed at creating jobs in the fiber optics, food handling, and mixed farm sectors. And these projects are being undertaken through a partnership agreement between the FUZE Institute for Humanitarian Praxis and the Unemployment Insurance Fund Labor Activation Program, which is an entity of the department. When I'm looking at these numbers, when we say the UIF through its Labor Activation Program LAB has set aside some big monies, some millions, for the 3 projects for nearly 20,000 beneficiaries. To be exact, it's 19,921. 70% of which are former UIF contributors who lost their jobs to undergo training in the following skill disciplines. You have told us, and I'm repeating it for the record, almost 14,771 beneficiaries as chief food handlers, 5,000 beneficiaries in enterprise development, that's mixed farming, and 150 beneficiaries as fiber optic technicians. And already you've told us about these 14,000 food handlers beneficiaries have been employed, and some are in the Department of Education here in KZN after completing their training. My problem is, Ms. Mo, I don't think we've done enough propaganda about this project. DG, this is a beautiful project, and we must showcase this project because it will be an example to a number of people. So we must talk to the media about this project. We need a special session to come and showcase this project to the media. So the Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs in KwaZulu-Natal has pledged to support these 5,000 learners, the cooperatives by purchasing their farming products, whilst Link Africa has committed to employing 150 beneficiaries as fiber optic technicians upon completing or completion of the training. The training programs include theory and practicals, while learners also receive monthly stipends. So the Fuse Institute for Humanitarian Praxis signed this, a 36 months funding agreement with the department to be funded through this UIF, Labor Activation Program, to provide training. And we're talking about nearly 20,000 beneficiaries. And it's clear the funding, it's for 3 programs which we've mentioned, where we've said the first project is food handlers, number of beneficiaries 14,700. They have their own duration, and you have a total budget for this project going over above 300 million, which includes payment of stipends, training, protective clothing, tools of trade, support and incubation, including monitoring and evaluation. And the project is being implemented across the following districts: Zululand, Umkhanyakude, King Cetshwayo, Ilembe, Ugu, Herigwala, Umgungundlovu, Uthukela, Umzinyathi, Majuba, and eThekwini Metro. This is a massive project. At the beginning, I was skeptical. But my DG says, he said to me, it's one of the delivering projects. You must go and see it, Minister. That's why we've committed so much. Thank you very much, Fuse. I mean, if you look at the scope, where they are going, you can see this is a project which makes a difference. So the food handlers training was provided in partnership with the KZN Department of Education and Training, and the training provider being Majuba. The college and the Department of Education has committed to absorb all the beneficiaries who are trained in the program and have since absorbed them. There's one lesson here from the departmental officials. One lesson, even for us as politicians. We are not going to be able to deliver if we are still busy with territorialism. This is my territory, this is my project, this is my department. If we want to make an impact, we have to combine resources, and then we'll be able to make an impact. To me, that's the lesson. If the Department of Education in KZN was not there, what were we going to do with them after training? And I came up with a very strong argument when I met with the DG and the commissioner and the people. I said, this training for the sake of training is not helping. You give millions to somebody to train. After 6 months, all those kids, they do not know what to do. They have nowhere to go. It must be linked to employment. That's the emphasis which we are having, because we have a new mandate. This enterprise development, where the number of beneficiaries, we're talking about 5,000, with that duration and a lot of budget of close to 200,000 or 200 million, which, like the food handlers project, which includes the payment of the stipends again, training, protective clothing, tools of trade, support intubation, including monitoring and evaluation. So the project is being implemented in most of the districts which I've mentioned. And all these were trained by, I'm told, Nogusho and Lungi Consulting, the partners of FUSE. So the partners of FUSE Institute in this program are again this Department of Education, the Tourism and Environmental Affairs, the Radical Agricultural Socio-Economic Transformation. You had somebody from RASET here, and NetBank. To me, it's very exciting that the financial institutions, they must move out of the old cocoon, because that has been the problem of the financial institutions. They've been very conservative. And if you are not able to fund the majority of the people because they are a risk, whom are you going to fund? When you continue to get our money, we bank into all these institutions. You will have to take that risk, because that's where you are. And I thank you, NetBank, for doing this. Even if, including Itala Bank, when you say, we have question marks, there's always risk in business. You must take that risk. So FUSE Institute has created the market linkages for the cooperatives that are being created from this project. So a total of 500 cooperatives are being registered for the 5,000 beneficiaries, with each cooperative comprising of 10 members. And the cooperatives will be supplying the vegetables to school. What a great idea. Kids in the schools are going to have fresh vegetables. Huh? Dr. Nzimande, we have committed with angazi ke noma yayisebenze kanjani lento ngoba manje kunabonzimanda abaningi ababodokotela awahlukanga nje nakubukhabazela mhlambe itrend yala eThekwini, many khabazelas, many buthelezi, many nzimandes, mhlambe itrend, because even with the Indian communities you have many Naidus, many whatever. But Dr. Nzimande, this is what we've agreed, and we've committed ourselves with the Minister, Dr. Nzimande, your minister. We want to grow the cooperatives all over the country. But I think they must come and take this example, because this is a beautiful example which we've seen here. And this project, the third project, the fiber optic technicians, we've told about the numbers, and the total budget we know. It caters for all the things which are being given to the others. We've talked about stipends, training, protective clothing, and so on. And the project is implemented in the eThekwini Metro in partnership with the Immediate Data Systems and MyTechie, with training provided by Aishi and EduWorks. Where are they? They're not here today. So all these 150 UIF beneficiaries are currently training, but have guaranteed employment on completion of the training. They will be installing fiber in 3 different districts. What a beauty. Let me step back for a moment and explain the thinking behind these employment creation projects. In 2019, the President expanded the mandate of the department to include issues of employment alongside labor issues. And as we reconfigure the department accordingly, our strategy included leveraging existing resources and programs, such as the UIF Lab, to contribute to the job creation and preservation, as well as linking training and skills development to the actual jobs. At the same time, we seek out new partners in pursuit of these objectives. And colleagues, we are appealing to the private sector. Instead of complaining, they must come and work with us. Instead of complaining, principal of the TVET college, the businesses are supposed to partner with your college and even bring the lecturers there in the TVET college and even come and fund the programs they would want to see in the college, not complain from the sidelines. It's going to be important that these partners with the private sector, this is how we're going to deliver the jobs in this country. Let me unpack the elements of these projects. The Labor Activation Program Skills Development contributes to the reduction of unemployment and poverty alleviation. LAP was established in order to enhance the employability of unemployment insurance fund beneficiaries, that is, workers who had lost their jobs, and ensure their reintegration into the labor market. The lab entails training layoff schemes, training of unemployed, entrepreneurial programs, the turnaround solutions, and enterprise development. This training layoff schemes, TLS, is a temporary suspension of the work for a worker or a group of workers that will be sent for training. The scheme is aimed at companies that face potential risk of retrenching those workers due to tough economic conditions. And we are seeing it today. The long-term plan of this approach is to ensure that the trainees are linked with the state financial institutions whereby they will receive financial and non-financial support. The fund also partners with the technical and vocational and training colleges across the country and the CETAs, our training authorities, to train beneficiaries on the above outlined programs. And I must emphasize this. It can't be. No, my DG Sanel has told me, we're no more fighting for the TEF now. Although we still do not understand how did the whole skills fund went into the other side, but we're no more fighting for the TEF. But our argument is simple. Working together is very key if we want to succeed. To leverage those resources, pooling them together, so that we don't duplicate, we don't compete. It's going to be very important. So the strategic objectives of these projects include the following: to reintegrate UIF beneficiaries into the labor market. The UIF fights unemployment by ensuring that UIF beneficiaries are trained and reskilled for re-employment, saving jobs and growing the economy. The UIF, together with the CCMA, the Council for Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration, and Productivity South Africa, we are there to assist struggling companies with solutions to turn them around, to prevent job losses and contribute to economic growth. We are promoting entrepreneurship, and UIF promotes and supports entrepreneurship by providing relevant training and skills. And UIF contributes to poverty alleviation, and UIF benefits are a lifeline to the unemployed contributors, their families and communities. And although today the event is to officially launch these projects, as you can see, much of the progress has already been made. Our hope is that these projects can provide a model and lessons for more job creation projects to come. how I wish, Prof. Mkhize, that universities can behave like this and not be ivory towers. Come back to the ground, work together with government departments, with NGOs to empower our people. Then they will be relevant, not just the abstract knowledge. I know, here professors, not doctors. Not the abstract knowledge, but I normally argue, DG, and say, people tell us about technology. Is this technology you're telling us about appropriate to our setting? We are interested in appropriate technology, not in technology for the sake of technology. With all these efforts, which we are witnessing today, thank you, Fuze, and your partners. Thank you very much. And let's say to the beneficiaries, it all starts with discipline and commitment. If you're not disciplined, if you're not committed, forget, you will not make it. That's what life is all about. I thank all of you.
Thank you very much, Minister. Colleagues, now we just hand over. We're just doing some sampling. We'll just be issuing out just 5 certificates to learners who have been through this program who are food handlers with the minister. And then they will just have to pass by the minister and the good prof just to greet. Yeah, I'm being corrected here that it is a graduation. So I will stick to that. It is a graduation. I think, Minister, I'll just hand over the certificates to you, and then we can just give them. Okay, the first learner that will is Nokwanda Stoll. Jobe. Edith Mfeka. Devi Ponsami. Namsile Kulu. And then Zinhle Mabas. Okay, now colleagues, we will just close the program. We'll call Dr. Nzimande to the stage to do the vote of thanks. I won't come back again. Thank you very much.
Greetings to the director of the program, And thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity to render these thanks. Minister, DG, and Commissioner, I recognize you. MEC Mshengu in absentia, represented by Undosi, I recognize you also. His Worship the Mayor, Baba Mtolisi Kaunda, I also wish to recognize him in absentia. Professor Nhlanhla Mkhize, Deputy VC, I recognize you, sir. And please do relay our thanks also to VC. CEO of FUZE, Sis Tandi, Dr. Tandi Ndobo, I wish to recognize you, sis. Partners, those who gave messages of thanks, I recognize you too. I wish therefore to state that my DDG, Mr. Sam Zungu, would have been here, but he sent someone to represent him, Mr. Richard Moderewa, who also is accompanied by Umnumzane Ungubane Umabuza. Whilst I close and busy trying to express thanks on behalf of the event, I observe that this whole scenario is like what the president would call a DDM. But maybe the difference here is the capacities, the entities, and everything else that defines the role players who participated, but the concept is similar. The scenario here is really enthusing, exciting, stirring, raising, contented. With all these terms, ngizama ukuthi kuthi xosololo. I don't think there is any term in any language that can describe that. It's just osololo. I just want also to say that the president stood up one day in his sauna and announced something around the placement of about 10,000 learners. But we are speaking of 14,000 here, which means we have shrunk the year. You should be clapping hands. Hey, Ubaba Umlocho would remember when I tell this story. I'm now referring this story to the learners who came up here and testified. Ayikho into enhle njengokubona umuntu ephumela obala, ebonga, egaqa phansi, ebonga ithuba. Ngoba ezimisele. Kwakhona enye inkosi yathi kubantu, ngizocela umuntu la ozoswima through this dam infested by crocodiles. Uma waswima ophumela ngale lo muntu ngiyomupha u500,000. And sonke isigodi sasimile sikake idam lelo. Uthe kubonakala kwakungena enye insizwa phakathi ithi gqumbuya shaya idadam yakuphumela ngale. Awashawa ehlombe nenkosi yasho yathi engahlukana ke nemali yami namhlanje. Hawuma beyakena bomtusa bezama ukumgqugquzela lomlisa akadini uyafa. Usho khona ukuthi ubani lesiphukuphuku esingiphushele emanzini. Ngiyixoxeke le ndaba when I want to reflect on the reality ethi we do not need to push people for something that is positive for their lives. Bese ngibabalile bonke ngenhla, and as I was counting them, I was actually thanking them. And siyawubonga kakhulu lo mcimbi. Umcimbi onjena ke minister siyesuvale ngehlombe wonke umuntu asukuma shaya ihlombe. Nizolandela mina ukuthi ngisha kanjani. Ningaliphapheli. Thank you.
The House is dismissed.
So we are busy with planting the vegetables like spinach, carrots, belingazilutho ngemalitshini okubeka utshani ukuthi suke senzela nje ukuthi amanzi agcineke ngakutheleka ukuthi isitshalo sidla amanzi even though kuthiwa kuqhamuka ilanga.